Recently, Roland Martin came under some fire. Well, at least it's not under fire as you might think, for a video that he was doing, and for some reason, something got slipped in. Something that people are not really familiar with on Roland's channel. However, he played it off really well, and people are still trying to figure out whether this was intentional, what exactly it meant. Is Roland leaning a certain direction? Was this on his computer? Were his producers trying to say something, do something, play a prank? We don't know. But I'll tell you what happened, since we probably can't show you what it was. He was playing a clip for that Kamala interview that she had with CNN. And after the clip was over, it panned to an explicit scene of a man walking down a corridor without any clothes on. Now, people could take that multiple ways. It could be that, like I said, a prank. However, Roland's reaction didn't seem to suggest it was a prank. You see, what it looked to happen is, because we're involved in this kind of a scene where we have to interchange videos all the time, what can sometimes happen is that you have multiple things open and you click on the wrong thing while thinking that what you're showing is on screen, but it's not what you think you're showing. It's something else. And you can easily try and recalculate your hands to find it back again. And what ensues, most of the time, it's hilarity. All right, right. But in this case, it was interesting. But it looked almost like he knew there was a mishap of a really, really giant kind, and then tried to cover it over with a really exaggerative statement that he had to make. But we have a different take on this. We're Too Strong, we always got different takes. That's what makes us Too Strong. We differ. We've been observing Roland for a while, and we've been trying to get his attention to come speak to us. And for some reason, he has ignored it. We know he's seen it. Let's not get that twisted. We're not saying that Roland's immune to seeing it. We know he's seen our extension of a conversation, if you want to put it like that. We know you've seen it, Roland. But we finally figured out, in our mind, our estimation, true or not, is just what we believe. We finally figured out why he probably does not have the desire to come speak with Too Strong. You see, we're of the belief that Roland Martin is suffering from gender dysphoria. We have multiple reasons for that outside of this little escapade with this video. We've observed some things, some tendencies, some traits, a reluctance to speak to strong masculine figures, an avoidance altogether, almost as though the same avoidance exists within his mind. He's been avoiding a certain type of lifestyle out loud that seems to kind of express that this video may not be a one-off, or two, an accident. While we're not 100% sure, we can at least go on what we call cues, okay? And I will advise you take a look and see if what we're seeing is only because we're biased, or if we're actually seeing something that most may be looking over. I would suggest you do the following. Go to his videos, and you for yourself analyze how many times you see either a trait that would indicate that the video that was slipped up is a normalcy for him, a speech pattern that would say it's normal, or a reluctance to denounce something that leans towards that direction. You see, many times when people don't have an identifier towards a certain gender, but have an identification with the opposite, they will avoid the ones that they don't like. They will avoid the strong, the extremely masculine, or in some cases, the extremely feminine, and they will gravitate to ones that they identify most with. And if you watch Roland's podcast, you'll see that he has a very high gravitation towards the female on his platform. While we don't know where that stems from, we can only assume that a majority of it is the reasonings is that he identifies more with that. If this video is actually true, that he had this on his desktop, he could be exposed for what he's been trying to hide. So here's my advice to you, Roland. Don't hide. If you really are an ally of that group and you don't believe there's anything wrong with that group, stop hiding. Either admit that that's what you were, or tell us, hey, this was a huge mishap, and say, man, I wish that had never happened. I don't even know how, and fire the people that caused that to happen. Make an assertive step, Roland. I mean, this is a massive, let's look at it this way. Suppose you are not suffering from gender dysphoria. Suppose you are 100% on board with the straight train. If somebody messed up that badly to put you in this kind of a precarious situation where you now have to defend basically pornography on your platform, wouldn't you be inclined to get rid of that person for doing such a thing and call them out by name so they don't get hired anywhere else? Why is it you're so silent about it, or at least trying to cover it up? We may be right. Now, again, we're only going based on your action, based on your reaction, and now based on what you have done or not done after the situation. But again, if this is true and we are right, it would be better for you mentally, we believe, if you just admit it. I think you can easily put this by this climate, and today, now would be the perfect time to do it because it is 100% accepted as a normal thing in society. In fact, you may even be seen as a hero for being unwilling to come forward for so long because of the kind of backlash you'd get, and now feeling comfortable in your skin, you are now willing to say, this is who I am. And if that's who you are, Roland, admit it. Be fine with it. Otherwise, people are going to start speculating. And with you not saying it, we might have to just think that our speculations are 100% true. But outside of that, there are kids that do watch your program. So what do you tell them? Even if you don't say children, let's just say there are post-pubescent children that watch it, 15, adolescents, going into their older days of teenage life. How would you explain that to them? That image can be traumatizing for people. Why haven't you addressed it? If we are wrong. We have a suspicion, though, that the reason you haven't addressed it is because we're right.